Hi, Haley here. Today I'm going to show you how to do a make one stitch. There are 4 types of make one stitches. 2 are knitwise and 2 are purlwise. The make one stitch is relatively unobtrusive, making it perfect for stockinette, ribbing, seed stitch. It's not very good for garter just because of the nature of the stitch. You have to use the stitch, the row below the row that you're working on, and in garter it makes it a little bit more visible. The make one is directional. That is why there are several different types. There are right slanting make ones and left slanting make ones. Knitwise make ones and purlwise make ones. I'm going to start off with a make one knitwise, and this is going to be a right slanting make one. Make one stitch is not something that you can do on an edge stitch. It's really best to have at least 1, sometimes 2 edge stitches. So as you're seaming your piece, you're not right on the make one stitch. The make one stitch uses the bar that runs between the stitch on your left needle and the stitch on your right needle. So that would be this right here. And you want to pick it up, and for a make one right, it needs to sit backward on your needle. And when I say backward, I mean backward as opposed to the way a stitch or a yarn over would normally sit. So backward means that the left leg of this stitch is in front. Then to complete the stitch, I have to knit through the front leg, like so. You will notice that it puts a twist in the fabric. That twist is very, very important. It prevents a hole from forming in your fabric. If you do have a big hole, then you didn't get it twisted. You'll also notice this is a make one right, and you'll see how that is pointing off to the right. That is what makes it a knit one right. And generally, if you're increasing on a piece, usually you want your increases to slant toward the edge of your fabric. So I'm going to do a couple more stitches and do another one. So I'm going to lift with my right needle, then put it on back to front on my left needle, and then it's a little bit tight to try to get in there. You can kind of hold down that stitch so you can get in there, and then knit. I'll show one more time. Lift, put it on back to front, and knit. Now it is time to do a make one knit that is left slanting. So I'm going to pick up the bar just like I did with the make one right, and I'm going to put it on front to back so that it sits on just like a yarn over would, or like a regular stitch with the right leg in front. Then I'm going to knit into the back of the stitch like so. You see, that also puts a twist at the base of the stitch right there, and you can see how that one points off to the left. So this is the same piece of fabric that I did the make one rights on, right here. I've passed the center of my piece, and now on this side, I'm going to do make one left. Just helps mirror those stitches. Okay, do another one, lift, put on front to back, and then knit through the back. And I will do one more. there you have it. It's a little difficult to see because of the needle, but you can see the increased stitches right there. And you can also recognize those in your fabric because as you follow the stitches up, you'll see that the make ones really don't have anything underneath them. They're just sort of hanging out there in the middle of nowhere. Now I am going to demonstrate the make one purl stitches. The make one purl stitches can be used when you need to increase on reverse stockinette fabric. So in the case of the purl side of the fabric being the public side, the make one purl is something that you can use. Because of the textured nature of the make one, of reverse stockinette fabric in general, it isn't terribly important to pay attention to the directionality of your stitches, of your make one stitches. It is, however, important if you are called upon to increase on the wrong side of your stockinette fabric. So that is what I'm going to show you how to do here, because when viewed from the right side, the twist that you put into the stitch is much more visible. So it's important to remember that when we were increasing on the right side, we slanted our increases toward the edges. In order to continue in that same vein, because this is the back side of the fabric, to make them match the knitted increases, these need to point away from the fabric, or excuse me, away from the edge. So I'm going to work the first two stitches here, and then I'm actually going to do a make one purl left, because on the right side that is facing away from the edge on the wrong side, but on the right side that is going to face toward the edge. So I'm going to pick it up and put it on the way a regular yarn over would sit, with the right leg of the stitch being in front. And then this one is the trickier one. I have to come around through the back of the stitch and purl it. Again, you can see it puts a twist at the bottom of that stitch. Okay, to pick up this stitch, it doesn't really matter which direction you pick it up from. Put it on front to back. And then I'm going to hold this down because that is really tight to try to get into back there. Then I'm going to come up from the back. And I kind of split that. There we go. There. This is difficult to do with the camera in your face. Do a couple more stitches, and then one more time. Front to back, and purl through the back. Last but not least, I am going to show you a make one purl stitch that slants to the right. And again, I'm doing this as a wrong side increase, so that on the wrong side it points away from the edge, but on the right side it will point toward the edge. So lift the bar, then this one goes on backward, just like the make one knit right. And then I purl through the front of that stitch. pick it up, put it on back to front, kind of hold that down so I can get my tip in there, and then purl. Do it one more time. Sometimes it's sort of tight. There we go. And there you have it. It's a row of make one purl stitches, and then when viewed from the right side, they continue to radiate outward from the center, slanting toward the edges. A lot of times in patterns, they won't be specific about which type of make one increase. They'll just say make one knit or make one purl. In that case, it is knitter's choice. You need to take into account a few things. Namely, is it in a spot that are you doing more than one increase? Is it going to be in a spot where if it is more than one increase that you'll see that you'd want them to be mirrored, or would you all want them to go to the same direction? It's really just a personal decision. So this is just designed to give you an overview of the different types of make one increases and the different situations where you might use them. Thank you very much, and happy stitching.